Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, it is Superman Day today, April 18, and the only good thing about the James Gunn film is it made me aware of the fact that it actually was a Superman Day, so I'm going to do a Superman celebration every year on this day from now on. Now, the thing that I was sort of thinking about, I was sort of looking over my Superman stuff, and I have a lot of Superman figures now compared to when I was like a kid. And I had very little merch when I was a kid. All I have surviving from when I was a kid really is this Toy Biz Superman. Now I had originally the Superpowers Superman, but someone stole it. And this one I bought from someone on eBay, and it was supposed to be really good condition. They had two, and they sent me the lesser condition one without like the S on the back of the cape. And then they gave me a refund when I pointed out they sent me the wrong one for the difference. So I have this not quite right one, and I've yet to buy a really good condition one again, which I tried to do. But for the longest time, all I had was this one, and he has survived. And it's funny how little we needed back in the day. Like, a lot of us didn't have a lot of access to characters and franchise. Like, for Superman, all I had was the memory of watching Superman 2 on TV and Superman 3 on TV. I saw those two movies on TV, and someone bought me that Superman figure and then the Toy Biz one. And the only other thing I had was my mum bought me the Superman 3 comic adaptation, which was a different one from this. The printing of the photos, because it had 4 photos on the back and front of Superman on the cover. It was better printing, thicker paper, and in the middle of the comic adaptation there was like 100 pages of black and white stories, of different Superman stories, which I eventually pulled out and sorted out the staples and had that like a separate coverless black and white Superman volume. And then I had the comic adaptation like this. It got damaged. I don't know if I still have it. It might be at my sister's house in a case. But I bought this one, which is a slightly different edition, and I still want a copy of the original one with the thick cover and everything like I had when I was a kid. But that's all I had for the longest time, and that's all you needed. All you needed was something to remind you of that character, that show, that franchise or whatever, and that was enough for your imagination to then, play with that character in your mind and keep that character alive and in your imagination. And that's all we had. And now I have a lot more, which is kind of funny. Now, I did go out and I eventually found like a few things like the Superman 4 poster book, and I love Superman 4. I don't think it gets the credit it deserves. It's got some bad comic, things about it, but it had a heart, and Christopher Reeve gave 100% despite everything else, and it's one of my favourites. It's one of the ones I actually enjoy watching more so than the other ones, and that's for the review. And I stumbled across some like a little 88 reissue comic in a trade, and an 87 comic which was in one of the DVD box sets. And then of course Superman Returns came out. Now up until this point I didn't really have any Superman figures except for that one, and I did get the Superman Returns one, and I did like Superman Returns. I got it, I think it worked on a level that is more for gay men to understand, and I think that's why it didn't really appeal to the general audience as much, because there was an element of other things in that film. But despite the costume being a bit off and Lois Lane being horribly miscast, I did enjoy the film. I saw it in the cinema, and I was sitting in the front row. Normally I'm alone in the front row. There were a full row of people, and there were 2 comic geek guys on either side of me. And when the music came up and they tried to recreate the feel and style of the original films, like this was just the 5th film that was never made, I just cried. And it was a great moment. I really loved that film, and I think it doesn't get as much credit as it deserves. I bought the comic adaptation, which also had like about 80 pages of other comics on the inside, which is awesome, because it reminded me of the comic adaptation that I already had before, and it gave me some extra stories because I didn't have much. And I got the official movie guide, which is pretty nice. I love really nice pictures and everything. And then along came the next Superman, the Henry Cavill Man of Steel version. Now I got a little Henry Cavill because I wasn't hugely impressed with the film. I didn't like that they removed the trunks. I didn't like that Krypton was basically just a grey desert planet, is how it looked. It was all grey dirt. They just did a lot of things I didn't like. So a lot of people say I'm a Snyder bro because I'm not happy with what James Gunn is doing. But at least Snyder treated Superman with some respect. He may have looked at it in a very dark way, but he treated it with respect, as opposed to James Gunn, who thinks superheroes are a joke and he's juvenile and narcissistic and has the mentality and humour of like a 12-year-old boy. He's incapable of making a good Superman film. It's going to be a disaster. But at least, you know, it was treated with some respect. And I did get this little book, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice Guide to Man of Steel and the Cape Crusader, like a little flip-over book that had information on Superman. So that was like my other Superman book. And then I got, of course, the Ultimate Guide to the Man of Steel. And that's it. I haven't invested in the reprinted trades and I haven't gone back to like the Silver Age and all this sort of stuff, which I probably should do. But I didn't really get a lot until I stumbled across a little Superman, Christopher Reeve Superman, and also a Michael Keaton Superman at 4-inch scale. I bought both of them, and that kind of got me started. And then I found this one, which I just absolutely loved. Christopher Reeve's NECA Superman, and aside from the fact that he had a scrape on his nose, revealing the black underneath I had to paint, I just loved it. And then I discovered the Superpowers ones, that they were recreating the Superpowers ones. So I got the New 52 one, which is the only way I'd buy one without the briefs, because there's a way to have one of those, because I'd never buy an expensive one because I don't like any of the Superman figures without the briefs. And then they did the more basic Superman, which I felt looked more like Dean Cain from Lois and Clark, which I loved as well because that came out. Everyone watched that, everyone loved it. I met Dean Cain a while ago. He was really sweet. I told him how much I was in love with Superman and his Superman, and he was really affectionate, really nice. And then a year or so later after that, he got red-pilled and became a maggot. I'm like, oh my God. Oh well. But then I got the Fleischer version, which they're just like recolors of the same one basically. But they're nice little nods to those and just fun to have on that scale. And then they did a new body and a much better Superman, which is a lot more like the original, but still not exactly like that one. Like he's got a tan and a smile, he's a little taller, but it's a lot closer. I'd like them to do an exact copy, like they did an exact copy of the blue Batman from Superpowers. It looked amazing. And then who was next? Oh, then there was the Batman 66 Superman, who I think was just on a cover. I don't think he was actually in the Batman 66 comic. And it feels a lot to me like the guy from the Superman from the serials, before the George Reeve TV series. And the only thing I don't like about it is this little collar. I don't know why he's got a collar. They should have just had the neck going into the cape. I don't know how to deal with that. But that was cute because just scale and everything. But then, of course, I forgot. I also thought I need a better Henry Cavill because I just had the little one. This one had a really nice big cape, a lot of detail, a lot of deco, a lot of metallic finish, but still not that great. And then I got this one because I actually thought it was a knockoff of the McFarlane one, which didn't have a material cape. So I thought, oh great, I'm getting a knockoff with a material cape. That's even better. And then I looked at it and like, oh, that's not a knockoff of the same figure. It's just the same scale basically. But it does have a lot more detail, a lot more subtle detail, more painted deco and everything. But this Superman symbol was bright red, and I had to paint it over and give it some texture to make it look like it fit on the uniform. Aside from that though, I still kind of like it. But eventually, of course, they did the Henry Cavill with a cape as part of the box set with the big guy killed him, I can't remember his name, Doomsday. So I got this one, but it's rusty red. It's not like the right colour, and it really should be the colour of the suit, not the colour it looks in the film with the lighting. So it really should look like how it did in like Black Adam. So aside from that, I kind of like it, but yeah, I really would like one that was like a bright red and a bright blue instead of the sort of muted, rusty sort of tones. But then, second last, of course, is the Golden Age, Silver Age Superman, which I got, which I do love. I nearly didn't get it because it's so close to the Christopher Reeve version. He's got broader shoulders, chunkier boots, more detail on the briefs, and of course I didn't head sculpt. It was very close. I'm like, you know what, you don't really need this because you got the other one, but I really liked it, so I got it anyway, because like, why not, I'm going to die soon anyway. So here we go, my favourite, which I guess I'll end the video off with, because I guess I just wanted to share my affection for Superman and my little collection, and also just my awareness of, I have like a little collection of Superman stuff, and I didn't need it when I was a kid. All I needed was a couple things, and he really just lived in my imagination and in my heart and everything, because I love the character so much. So I didn't need all this when I was a kid, but it's fun to have now. But this, of course, very accurate depiction of Christopher Reeve. And yes, I know there are 12 and 16 inch figures and bigger figures that are more expensive and better quality, which I will eventually get as well, because I'm just going through a lot of my collections, finishing them off, and I'm going for volume and getting a lot of the smaller figures and cheaper figures, and I'm slowly running out of those and getting up to the more expensive figures and the Grail items. So yeah, I really love this. The detail is great, and for now, because I don't have a bigger one, you know, I'm really happy with it. When I get one of those bigger ones, and I look back at this one and go, how was I happy with that little 7-inch figure? Now I've got a 12-inch or 16-inch Superman. But for now, you know, it's more than I ever thought I'd have when I was a kid. An accurate representation of Christopher Reeve's Superman in a bigger scale. But yep, that's my little video my little tribute to Superman on Superman Day. And I don't know if it's Superman Day because it's his birthday or if they just picked a random day. But there's going to be nothing to celebrate when the new film comes out, so I guess I thought I'd try and do something to celebrate Superman with Superman Day. And I guess I'm going to do this every year now. This will be the day that I actually sit down and start a Superman marathon and go through all the movies and watch like the movies of the special editions of the first film and the second film, like the Donner version, that, and then there's the TV version of the original film. So there's like 3 versions of the first film, 2 versions of the second film, and then, you know, 3, 4 returns, and then all the others. So I guess I'll do a little Superman marathon, but I haven't watched, I've only watched Superboy once. I've only watched Lois and Clark once since I bought the DVD, since I saw it when I was like younger. I've only watched The Adventures of Superman, the original 50s series, once. So a lot of this stuff, it's been so long since I watched it, I only watched it once. It's like watching it all new. It's like I've just got this giant catalogue of things that I haven't even seen almost, because I can't remember half the stuff from when I watched it 10, 20 years ago. So I'm kind of rediscovering it all, which is fabulous. But and that's what I'm doing last, because I wanted to do Superman, but it's like, no, you're supposed to be doing... I was up to Hellboy, and then the new Hellboy, and then Venom. That's what I was supposed to be doing today. And then I remembered, oh God, it's Superman Day. And it's like, no, because what I'm doing is I'm saving Superman for the end of my superhero marathon. Because by the time I go through them all, the last couple ones I'll be watching will be like Madam Web and Morbius. And I don't want them to be the end of it, so I'm saving the best for last. I'm going to watch the original Christopher Reeve Superman films and the Michael Keaton Batman films and the original Batman series and just the Batman and Superman stuff that I really love, and Wonder Woman, the original series. And then I'm going to watch them last, after I watch all the films that I either haven't seen or haven't seen for 10 or 20 years. So that's why I'm doing this little tribute, because I don't have the time to actually sit down and watch the films. I'm saving them for last, which will be in a couple of weeks, I guess, when I'm done with all the other films. I'm going through everything, all the Marvel films, everything, and I'm sort of halfway there. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think. I can't believe I've been talking for 13 minutes. But I just wanted to share my little collection and just the revelation I just had that, you know what, I didn't have much of Superman when I was growing up, but it was enough. And I really felt like he was really important and a big part of my childhood, even though I only saw the films on TV like once each, 2 of them, and I had 1 toy and 1 comic for all those years, but that was enough to keep him alive and, you know, to sort of inspire me and everything. So I think that says something about how we were raised and the films that we had, that they were inspirational. We'd want to watch them again and again and again and really live in them. Whereas now, a lot of the films are just crap. You watch them once and it's like, okay, well, I saw that, and you never go back to them again. I feel sorry for kids now, and that's their superheroes. We had really good superheroes, and they inspired us, and, you know, they stuck with us for our whole lives. And that's why I feel the need to celebrate Superman, which I'm going to do every year now. But I'm going to go. 15 minutes is way too long to just talk about my toys and my books and stuff and the fact I love Superman. And my voice is going anyway. So yeah, feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Superman and my little collection. And yeah, I look forward to actually watching the films when I finish the marathon of all the other superhero films. Yep. I'm going to go. Bye.